Rico, let's go and check-in。
不像国内一切都是好像你都预算好了的。
穿过最荒原的地方，从赞比亚修到坦桑尼亚，最荒野的地方，所以只有中国人能那么吃苦。
门槛还是比较低的，还不一定像其他的族群的话这么看得开。我觉得不理解也是正常的，我也有准备，也有心理准备去适应。
Africa, magnetic as its natural wonders. There is a saying among the Chinese community that once you are drugged by the magic of Africa, you will never be cured. Frank has a farm on the outskirts of Lusaka, the capital city of Zambia.
Rico, let's go and check-in.
He has raised chickens, goats, and planted corn.
Get one baby chicken.
He loves to bring his family here on weekends for barbecue and share his harvest with his friends. He has hired a local family to take care of his farm. In 1994, Frank graduated with a law degree from a prestigious university in south of China. He got employed by a high-profile company in his home province Jiangxi that specializes in international cooperation.
我们当时肯定都抢着出国。如果我们公司和欧洲、美洲没什么业务，这种通常概念上的好的条件比较好的国家没办法去的话，非洲也不错。
A few years later, Frank was deployed by his company to Botswana. The memory of arriving in Africa for the first time is still very fresh, almost 20 years on.
当时我记得我到非洲到博茨的时候，正好是个冬天，国内是很热的时候。一到博茨冬天，但它的冬天属于那种你可以上面穿着棉袄，下面穿着短裤的那种冬天，很干燥。这个天就像当时这个 Windows 屏幕保护程序的那么蓝天白云这么漂亮，一看这个地方。
The young man realized he had found a whole new continent where he could grow and break away from the typical Chinese path.
不像国内一切都是好像你都预算好了的，什么年龄可以结婚，什么时候你需要去分房装修，好像是按部就班。像我们这样的有些年轻人还是喜欢一点意外的。所以我就属于这么一小撮人，所以我在非洲一来，我就觉得很对味道。
In order to enjoy more freedom and explore Africa in his own way, Frank quit the company that first sent him to Africa. In the year 2000, Frank with his Chinese friends drove all the way from Botswana to Zambia to start a new life.
This is Lusaka Hotel, and this is the first place we stayed. On the first day, from the first day we arrived to Lusaka. We stayed here, I can't remember this room or this room, for about 40 days.
As he anticipated, life was full of surprises.
We see different things and we hear different things. We get excited. It's just a comparison because everything's different from the environment you grow up. You find it interesting, you find it surprising. It was good for young men when you're young.
Even more surprising, in a friend's wedding, Frank met a Zambian girl, Lucy, who was going to change his life completely. The long absence from his home country, China, not only gave Frank freedom, but also brought him trouble.
因为长时间在国外，每次回国，然后频繁的相亲，效果也不显著。 然后就算相亲，有时候保持点联系，离开了这个环境，对吧？全是靠电子邮件，当时也没有微信，也没有 QQ， 对吧？全靠这种联系，也很难去经营这种关系的。
As the Chinese saying goes, if the sun does not shine in the east, it will shine in the west. Frank made a new discovery.
赞比亚人，就是这两个国家的黑人，他也保持着很多我们期待的那种女性的传统，贤惠啊，照顾他们来讲，照顾丈夫的话，我觉得从我知道的角度来讲的话，不会平均水平吧，不会比中国女孩差。
Frank married Lucy. Together they have 3 sons, Reiko, Caleb, and Boo Boo.
Okay, go and catch Reiko. Catch Reiko.
The interracial marriages between Africans and Chinese were at the time rare and not without controversy even today.
我记得我娶了当地的赞比亚的女孩结婚，对于其他的男性来讲的话，他们是不是会很欣赏、很支持？我觉得这个值得商榷。
He found himself in a hard place and a rock. The pressure equally came from his Chinese community.
我觉得中国人在这个观念里面的话，跨越种族的观念里面，门槛还是比较低的，还不一定像其他的族群的话这么看得开。我觉得不理解也是正常的，我也有准备，也有心理准备去适应。
For his children, the question about their origin seems to be a sensitive topic. Do you think you are Chinese or African?
African.
You're African, okay. It's okay. After his marriage in 2000, Frank transferred all his assets from China to Zambia and invested in a clothing business together with Lucy. The unpredictable business world was yet another challenge that Frank was willing to take. The couple opened their first store in a bustling street on Cairo Road in Lusaka.
Does this bring back good memories?
Yeah, I still remember the time I never used to know how to use Photoshop, but I have to force myself to make a little logo and make a little signpost 15 years ago. Not nice, but bringing a lot of memories. I remember I worked together up to 12 hours for this. Now this shop is quiet. Oh, it's getting so quiet. Where are the people? You would have a lot of people feel here full. Where are the people? Huh? You're chasing them.
No, we're not chasing them.
Okay.
They come.
Take care of them nicely. Yeah? All right.
Around his store, Frank came across a familiar face.
This is one of my brothers here. I've known him for long. How many years we know each other?
I've been here for almost 13 years.
13 years.
Yes, in this shop.
How did you know each other?
How do we know each other?
We know each other for a long time. You know, even we opened those shops when I was young.
When you was young. You're still pretty young. we are actually neighbors. This is my wife's shop, and this is his store. Oh, this is yours. Oh, this is yours. Okay.
15 years on, Collins is still attending his small electronics business. Frank and Lucy have moved their major business to high-end malls. They now operate a chain of clothing stores in Lusaka. Frank might not have expected to have come this far in their business. Even more unexpected to Frank, in recent years, more Chinese have flooded to Zambia and have engaged in various businesses, which has aroused mixed feelings among Zambians.
The Chinese people, they are good people. They are hardworking people. We love them. The Chinese, They spend much of their time, hours working, which is somehow comes out like harsh to us Zambians, you see.
Some Chinese are said to have taken away job opportunities from the locals. This has been mostly protested against.
In Zambia, we are not prejudiced. If one or two make mistakes, it tarnishes the image of the rest. But after this new influx, we have seen some coming in to do things that are not so much supposed to be like that. They're beginning to do some marketing of vegetables, some do with the chickens. So in that line, they begin doing certain businesses that normally Zambians are doing. And I think that that's where we're having a bit of a problem.
If it's businesses, if it's construction, if it's this and that, we expect Zambians to equally be 100% involved. So that we are not beating about the bush. We are saying just the plain truth, so that when Chinese come here, the knowledge and the skills that they have, we should share. There must be this transfer of skills.
Frank is keen on adapting himself to the economic environment as an investor. Together with his wife, they have employed about 200 Zambian workers in their chain stores.
We just like a seeds. We like a seeds, like foreign seeds, blown by wind, and come to here. And the soil is always rough, it's hard, and you must find a way to grow. And if you're aggressive species, definitely you're going to have your heat back.
The challenges and the uncertainties Frank faces have not deterred him from enjoying this land, but quite the contrary.
This is fashion.
You find a gun.
This is fashion. The big man, the good man.
Thank you. Thank you for that. As I said, every place got its high, got its low. But after balance, I think I love this place.
It's not only the business world that binds Frank to Africa. He has never forgotten what lured him to quit his former job 15 years ago and become an adventurer in Africa.
最终诱因让我在非洲留下，那个不是说在工作上留下，是让我辞职，留在非洲。当时的诱因，我可能就是去了2个地方，一个是去了一次开普敦，南非的开普敦，一次去了博茨瓦纳的 Okavango Delta。各种各样的动物在你身边，很安静，很安详，它根本不会理你，它可以在很近的距离看着你，有时候看着你很长时间，不是那种受惊的看，就打量你从哪儿来的，你干什么的，然后在这种各种各样的水道里面曲曲弯弯，感觉特别不一样。你可以走到一个小岛上，然后这个后面的那个划船的那个导游，划船的导游告诉你。我前天在这看那个狮子，你看这是狮子的脚印，然后你自然会问他，你说你看那狮子会跑吗？你看那狮子跑也没用了，你应该如何，他给你讲很多这样的故事。那次的旅程给我的想法冲击很大。所以基本上那2次去玩了以后，我就希望自己也希望以后可能还有更多的机会留在非洲，去看这样的地方，类似这样的非洲地方，或者比这种更吸引人的地方。
So Frank stayed, according to his original wish. On weekends, Frank would take his family to the farm on the outskirts of Lusaka to have a taste of the wilderness. He must be glad to see his adventurous spirit being passed on to his young ones. Reiko loves to play here with his favorite toy, an axe. His sons seem to have developed their own ambitions.
I want to try gold mining.
Gold mining?
Wow. Fly a plane, a pilot.
Pilot. Very nice.
Frank would take his sons to experience true adventures on Zambezi River Gorge, which he didn't do himself though. Perhaps Frank is anxious to see a new cycle of adventure carried out by his sons, so he will never need to leave his second home, Africa.
说你一旦在非洲，你被非洲咬过以后，你永远不会痊愈。去了一些地方之后，你接触了一些人，你可能确实不愿意离开非洲了，不知道为什么。
40 years ago, we see Africans and Chinese working shoulder to shoulder, building a railway known as Tazara, which is still remembered today.
The initial arrivals building at the Tazara, yeah, and they assisting in Tazama. We had seen them as hard-working people and strict to what they are coming for.
40 years ago, we see Africans and Chinese playing and laughing together like brothers and sisters. 40 years later,
a lot of Zambian people think the Chinese people are very reserved, not very friendly, and not kind, if I can put it that way.
what happened? What made the relationship different? Is it indeed different? Like many Chinese, Gao Kenan heard about the story of Tazara from the older generation. This made her yearn for Africa when she was young, but her wish didn't come true until she was 40 years old.
当时我是不愿意在国内待着了，我原来在北京总院，工作，突然听到有个消息，要组织非洲医疗队，我想也挺好的，因为我从小我就喜欢到处去看看，有新鲜的地方我就特别向往。
In 1988, Gao Kenan arrived in Zambia during a rainy season.
是个清晨，大概是5、6点钟，完了降落以后看到那个朝霞，空气那么清新，那么漂亮，我就觉得感觉特别好。
Gao Kenan was assigned to a military hospital in Zambia, where she did oral and maxillofacial surgery. 2 years later, she went to Finland to further her studies at the University of Helsinki. In 1994, she rented a house in Lusaka and renovated the garage, which she turned into her own dental clinic that runs till today. But opening a clinic in Zambia at that time was as hard as constructing a railway in a remote land.
非常的就是比较落后吧，有些治疗，你像就是在国内就是挺基本的治疗了，像是根管治疗啊，都得飞到南非去好的，你像正畸的，你像固定的矫治器这些的，也是都没人做过。
To overcome the adversities, Dr. Gao invited specialists from South Africa to her clinic to treat difficult cases which she couldn't handle herself. She initiated an open discussion for any doctors who were interested in learning more about dentistry.
No, I made my hobby my job.
Yes.
In a few years' time, Dr. Gao's name as a dentist spread in Zambia. particularly among the expatriates.
We started as a family coming to Dr. Gao when she first came here because at that time she was probably the best dentist there was and the only quality dentist in Lusaka.
The clinic also attracts patients with influential background.
In 2002, I had a problem with my tooth and it was paining. And then I was in London. So in London, I went to a dentist I couldn't afford. So I came home and after asking a few friends, they said, you can go to KD Dental. They first cleaned up all my teeth and filled it up. From 2003, that feeling held up to date. So I was actually very, very happy.
Dr. Gao's reputation even reached the ears of the former president of Zambia, Kenneth Kaunda. Since the clinic was opened, Dr. Gao has employed a number of Zambian girls. Most of them knew nothing about dentistry when they started.
This is Face, is our therapist.
She was teaching me from scratch because I had no idea about dentistry.
When Faith joined the clinic in 1995, she was straight out of high school.
其实他们挺聪明的，但有时候你不能着急，我这性格也急，你得慢慢教，因为都给他们写下来。写下来以后呢，我说你今天这个病例，你的准备1、2、3、4、5，你回家睡觉前你就过一遍，有这么几次就过来了。
After 3 years, Dr. Gao noticed something special in Faith and had a further thought.
She was happy that I grasped everything quite quickly. And then after the first 3 years that I worked here, I got very interested in the work here and she asked me if I wanted to go to school and study. And I said I would really love to do it. So she facilitated me going to school and I got a diploma in dental therapy from that time on.
To train and support Zambian employees is not something Dr. Gao feels obliged to, but it's out of her own volition.
我不像别人觉得黑人好像挺难接近的，我一来我就挺喜欢他们，我觉得他们特别的真实，比较质朴，而且特别友好。
The clinic has attracted over 20 foreign doctors to work here, such as Ashutosh from India.
Dr. Gao is probably the oldest and the best surgeons still in Zambia. And I have done my master's, so she understood what I can do, and she was very kind enough and generous enough to offer a job when I first came.
The doctors come from all over the world. Some from Yugoslavia, Italy, Zimbabwe, Namibia, China and Germany. Dr. Gao wants her clinic to be an open platform for everyone to try and learn from each other.
不管你是半斤八两，给你个舞台，能以病号为主为重，就是说，只要对病号有好处，因为有的诊室的自己不会做，完了呢就把人家拔了，牙就拔了。这个我不会做，我没有把握的，我都请专家来。
This open platform has helped young doctors to establish their own reputation.
First day when I came, nobody knew me. But Dr. Gao had faith in me. She employed me and she gave me a chance. And today I see that a lot of people, they come specially asking for me.
Dr. Gao not only implanted hope in doctors such as Ashutosh, but also to this man, Jaroslav Kulic, an agriculturist from Slovakia. When Kulic met Dr. Gao in Livingstone, Zambia in 1989, he was at the lowest point of his life.
Because you really
Not my wife, first wife, she died, and about 2 years I was alone. And I can say I was so down with my spirit and with everything that I was decided that maybe I can finish my life. And I go to Livingston. It was Easter holiday. And I saw some Chinese group, and I saw some Chinese lady, she was swimming with umbrella. And this is, which was very interesting for me.
The two got married in 1993, and together they planted numerous fruit trees and flowers in their courtyard shared by the clinic.
Okay,
I can get this superman.
Together, they drove to countless African countries and brought back countless souvenirs.
Angola, Congo, Brazzaville, and where? Gabon, you talk?
Gabon, Cameroon, Nigeria.
For nearly 3 decades, Africa has given Gao Kenan a blossoming life. Her joy and accomplishment doesn't seem to be any less than her predecessors who built the Tazara Railway 40 years ago. Former President Kenneth Kaunda appreciated the Tazara workers just as he does to Dr. Gao's team today. And he's not alone.
This particular dentist have been associated. She's holding on some 2 Zambian ladies here. When in 2002 I came up, the other one was like just a hand. But by now I've seen her handle. The other time I came, she was the one cleaning up my teeth. So I think she has learned something.
Recently, tens of thousands of Chinese have flooded to Zambia. For some of them, the Tazara is a distant past. Africa is a strange place where they need to compete to survive.
有一段时间，就是中国人就是卖那个鸡啊、鸡蛋呐，在那个自由市场那儿，4点、3点、4点、5点就起来就卖，人家黑人起来了，就是都7、8点了，市场都被他们就占了。他们说要去教堂。 他说：“我们要跟家里人在一块儿，对不对？我们要 enjoy life。就你们一来，把我们市场也没了。我们那个能干的，为什么你们还要干？”
Dr. Gao cannot forget what inspired her when she was young, the stories about a railway built by the Chinese for Africa.
他们都是穿过最荒原的地方，从赞比亚修到坦桑尼亚，最荒野的地方，它就只有中国人能那么吃苦。到了一个地方以后，先种菜，自己养鸡养猪，完了部队就是大部队来了，一个星期7天，就那么工作，牺牲了好多人。当时中国那么困难，就为了这个坦赞铁路，中国就是恨不得勒得裤腰带子。
For Dr. Gao, the spirit and zeal of the construction workers 40 years ago is not hard to understand.
中国人到这儿来，一定要对人家非洲人好一些。为什么呢？咱们都是被压迫、被殖民过的国家，心是相通的。
So in her small clinic, Gao Kenan is still doing what she can as a Chinese doctor. Hopefully, the clinic will be a legacy left to Africa, just like the Tazara.
People that I know that have come here and have met my boss get very surprised. And say, I can't believe it. I mean, I was talking with her, we were talking about everything, we were chatting, we were laughing. I have, for sure, they would leave. Most of them have told me that personally, that I have a different view or perception of Chinese people. from meeting Dr. Gao here.
I plan to stay in this clinic as long as Dr. Gao wants me to. The day she tells me get out, I will get out. But no, honestly, I love Mama Gao, and I want to stay and work here as long as I can.